we find so many cases like that. Like, for example, I got this guy coming to my office one day, and he said, my wife said that she doesn't work, and I have to pay a lot of money on the child custody and alimony. And I know she's working, but she's working in a strip club. She's an exotic dancer. So I know by source that she's been working there. But I need to prove that she's been working, because she's being saying to the court she's not working. So we do an investigation. We go to the club undercover, and we have special equipment, because over there they're looking around. They don't want you to take photos and videos, They don't like that. So we have glasses with camera, watches with camera, and all other gadgets that we can use to monitor her working there. So we do that not only one time, we go a few times, okay, to show a pattern. At the end, we monitor this lady working a few nights, and we find out that she was making over $2,000 a night, if it's even more. And it's all cash. There is no check, no paycheck, no nothing. It's cash. So that's something that she's going to have to explain to the court.
Welcome back to Uncovering the Truth with the only one, Victor Elbeze. And this time we're going to have the pleasure to tap into his mind and talk about what we promised last episode. Child custody
Investigation.
Perfect.
Yes. It's our agency, Universal Investigation Agency, so do approximately 40% of domestic and family affair, which is including child custody investigation. Okay, and this is a kind of very important investigation, because a child is involved, the safety of a child, and other things that need to be taken in consideration, especially when children are involved.
This is a special subject, Victor, because last time we were talking about infidelity. There is statistics, there is data out there that they talk a lot about what's going on with child battles, child custody battles. And obviously the first step, someone dealing with that, is to go to an attorney. I want the audience to know, and that's the first question, how can a private investigator help someone in the process of battling a child custody?
Sure. Yes, it's very important. Like, as you know, we sometimes start a case with a cheating spouse, then we find a cheater, then our client decide to divorce. The client has children and assets and get involved in the divorce battle with her husband, and things are getting complicated too. So a lot of times we start with the cheating spouse, and we head up to do the case for later on for child custody investigation, because the husband or one of the spouse is not responsible enough to take care of a young child. Okay, so there is trust involved. So we had cases that we unfortunately we find that the child was in danger when he was with one of the parents. So it is very emotional for the parent, because especially when the child is a toddler, for example, like 2-3 years old.
You can't
speak much, they need attention. They need to be, constant attention on the child. I mean, and then one of the parents is completely out of control. It can be under substance, drugs, alcohol, or, completely irresponsible, leave the child alone, go party. The child maybe is going to be around big dogs, pit bulls or dogs that are not very friendly. I mean, all those kind of
Unsafe.
yes, yeah. Maybe the child is going to be around firearms, and that happened more than we think. I mean, it's a big problem. I had a case that the husband was law enforcement, and he was special ops under operation. He was a detective investigator, but undercover. And he used to have firearm in his house, like everywhere. And obviously, for someone in law enforcement, he was not very responsible to leave firearm loaded anywhere on the table, between the pillows and the couch. The child was like 4 years old. The wife, the ex-wife, she went to pick up the child one day, and the kid was having a gun in his hand. The husband didn't even see that coming. And so there is those kind of things, but doesn't matter who you are. I mean, when you're around a child, you have to be very careful. I mean, you can have firearm. It's not a problem. It's part of the Second Amendment, right? You can carry or own firearm in your house, but you have to put those firearm in safe place, like safe that no children can have access, okay, of those things. It could be anything. It could be knife. It could be like broken glasses on the floor, medicines, yeah, the detergent. The cabinets are not child proof, toddler proof. They take the detergent and they start drinking it, and the child is handed up in the hospital. But so there's many cases that parents are not very secure with certain situation. Okay, it can be also on the background of one of the parents. The parent has been in rehabilitation. He was in rehab for drug abuse, for, things like that. So the mother is concerned or the father is concerned and hiring us to follow the subject when he is in the custody of the child. Okay. So that we make sure like everything is okay. We don't see anything out of control. And if this is the case, if the child is in danger, we call the police. We make sure to act very fast to make sure that nothing happened to the child. Okay.
This is interesting because in the last episode, you said that as private investigator, you have the right to video, no audio, but you have the right to video someone from 25 feet, but not in the bedroom and not in the bathroom. So how you as a private investigator can help someone to uncover the truth of a wrongdoing by the other spouse? What are the things that you can help the client?
Many things, like, for example, we see that we follow the spouse. He's going to a restaurant. He has the kids, and he starts drinking, heavily drinking. At that point that it became a concern for him, for us to see him driving with the child. So that's a problem.
Can that's a couple that is separated, but the person who is in custody of the child, that person has alcohol inside the house that he is in custody of the child. Is that legal or is that illegal?
No, it's that you can have alcohol. Alcohol, it's a legal substance. Okay. Now, if it's cocaine, no, that's another story.
Okay.
Okay. The only thing is, our job is to, parents, they fight against each other for the custody of the child. Okay. So my client come to me, she said, my ex-husband is this and this and this and this. He's completely irresponsible. And we want to make sure that nothing happened to the child. And also I would like to get the full custody of the child. Okay. And we did some cases that after our investigation, the other person, the other spouse was not able to have custody. The only custody he was supervised custody. Okay. Because obviously we find a lot of things going on. In that case, particularly, the child was left in the vehicle without any adult supervision inside the vehicle. The engine was on. He was like 3 years old. He was not even in the car seat. All those things like when you have toddler about, the other party, the husband or the wife need to equip themselves with with a car seat, because by law, you cannot have a baby without a car seat in the car. So already here, it's a violation of something. So this is kind of proof that we can go after. And obviously, this is something that I believe the court will take in consideration. Okay? That's
great. Now that you mentioned the court, there is a very good question that we got for you, as people knew that you were going to talk about this. So I gathered 6 questions for you, and one of them is precisely regarding court. Can you walk us through a real case where your investigation exposed abuse that the court might have missed?
The court, yes. I mean, the court doesn't do any investigation. So when you have a child custody cases in court, each party has a lawyer, okay? Most of the time. Sometimes not. Only one party has a lawyer. So what we do, we build the case, we follow the subject. During the investigation, we find leverage against the spouse, okay, of negligence of care for a child. Like I said, this case the child was left in the vehicle,
unattended
with the engine on for like more than 10 minutes. So we monitor everything. We're recording everything. Then we were following the subject. After that, the subject stopped at a liquor store. And we had photos and videos of him coming out with bottle alcohol, but not one. He came with a case of bottle, okay? I mean, everybody can buy as much alcohol they want. Maybe they have a party, they have something, it's fine. But this is all little things that can be added to the case. Down the road, we were following the subject. He went back home, had the child. He was like 3 years old inside the house. And we knew, and we were looking, we were like doing surveillance on the residence. He was alone. Nobody else was with him in the house. And then around like 10:30, 11 o'clock, he left the house without the child. So which means the child was alone inside the house. We called the client. We explained the situation, that we were concerned about, we didn't have 100% proof that nobody was in the house. Maybe, we never know. Maybe he had a babysitter or his girlfriend or mother being sitting here for a few days and we didn't see it. Could happen. So we called the mother. The mother got very aggravated and she called the police to send the police to do a well check on the house to see if somebody is going to answer the door. Police came, they knocked at the door, nobody was answering. They knocked at the door, nobody was answering. The mother came, she said, I hire a private investigator. We came out, we went to see the police, we talked to them, we say, yeah, we've been doing surveillance for the entire day. We saw her husband leaving the house. At that time, we have photo and videos, so we show them. And we believe that the child of 3 years old is inside without supervision. So they broke the door and they went inside, and effectively the baby was sleeping, nothing in danger. He was alone. That's the only danger that he had, but the baby was in his bed and sleeping. Okay? So here we had photos, videos of the entire situation with the police breaking the door and everything. So we reinforced our case. We had a police report as well. And then we have previous incidents. So the case was pretty well done. So motion was filed. We were asked to go to court to actually talk about what happened, explain the case to the court. And at the end, the client was granted a full custody of the child, and the other parents was not allowed to visit the child for sometimes. Then they allow him later on supervision visit with a guardian.
Wow.
Not even a guardian from the social department. So that was very good. And again, my client was right. Sometimes it's not always the case.
Right.
Okay. I had other case that the client was lying to me, obviously, or maybe she was believing stuff that was making her feeling better. I had clients saying, oh, my husband used drug, alcohol, he go drink with his brother, he left the child, I'm sure he's going to leave the child and everything. We did a custody investigation and nothing of that happened. The guy was actually very good father. I mean, we didn't say that he was a very good father because this is not our job to tell who's good, who's bad.
I appreciate the honesty of that, for sure.
He was very dedicated to the child. He was always with his mom. So the mom, the father mom was with him to help him to take care of the child because he was, it's a big job to take care of a newborn or like a toddler. So everything was well. Client got upset, of course, because we could not get any leverage on the husband. But this is not up to us. This is something that people have problem to understand. We are not here to create story. We're not here because they're paying us to do an investigation that we are going automatically
to fabricate stories and
to be on her side and make it happen for her. It's not the way it works. We are investigator. We are not a company who's doing marketing. Okay? That's nothing to do with that.
And that's very important what you're saying, because to the audience, this is what we are trying to do. We are trying to uncover the truth. We are trying to keep it real with you. And as you notice, I am the rookie in this opportunity. I'm tapping into his mind. And it's not only this time, last time, he was clearly honest about his procedures in the sense of we are not doing things to make clients happy.
Yeah.
We are uncovering the truth.
Like I always say, it's not what you think, it's not what you say. It's what you can prove in court. That's what matters. The rest, it's bullshit. Okay? And I understand it's a lot of emotion. It's very emotional because, again, it's a child involved. And that's something that obviously any parents will be concerned about the safety of their child. Okay? But we cannot create story making up a case to please you because you want to win that case. I mean, we are here to deliver the truth and only the truth, not building some maybe or, things like that. That's not going to work.
The way I see it, hiring a private investigator to help you uncover the truth about what the other partner or the spouse is doing wrong is an opportunity because it saves you time, it saves you headaches. You don't have to be tracking or stalking anybody. You can legally do it by hiring a private investigator.
Yeah. And also it saves you a lot of money with the lawyer's fees.
That's correct. Yeah.
Because more your case has evidence and proof, faster is going to be admissible in court. And the judge is going to automatically see white or black. It's not going to be gray or purple. And lawyers sometimes, lawyers, it's like between $500 to $1,000. I mean, their fees are very expensive. So what you want to do is to make it easy and fast for them to move forward. They're going to file a motion. They're going to, do all those things. And that's what you need to do.
I'm going to make an emphasis on that, Victor. And I'll tell you why. Last episode, I mentioned about a guy who wrote to us. He hired a lawyer. He was in the middle of a battle of custody.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what happened is, in Florida, you said that this is a no-fault state.
No-fault state.
Correct. So if you prove that the other person is cheating on you,
yes,
it doesn't do anything to benefit you.
Not in Florida.
So this guy expressed his concern about him hiring and retaining an attorney who he was actually giving him all the proof via email to the attorney to see if he can get help by demonstrating that he was cheating on. He said that the attorney didn't do anything, but instead of informing him that this is not a false state,
mm-hmm.
he was charged $300 an hour to read all the emails to find out the truth at the end that
he's not going to be able to use it in court.
He couldn't use it in court.
Yeah. So like I had people hiring me for cheating spouse to find out. They start to talk to me about, I want to prepare my case for the court, then I can get this, I can get that. And I tell them right away, I say, you're not going to get anything more than 50%. Because Florida is a no-fault state, it's 50-50. 50-50 for assets and 50-50 for child custody. Now, if you can prove that the other part is a danger for the child, you can have 100% custody or 70% custody. And that's how it works. So today, a lot of people go to court, child custody, divorce, no child support because it's 50-50. Okay, it depends on, of course, if one of the spouse makes a huge difference of money. Of course, maybe there is gonna be some child support and also alimony for the other spouse. But if you both guys are in the same kind of salary, it's gonna be 50-50.
Correct.
Nobody's gonna pay child support. Nobody's gonna pay alimony, and you're gonna get divorced, and all assets gonna be split in two if there is asset. Most of the time, the biggest asset is the house. So some clients have equity in the house, which means they have equity. They have some money, a little more money than what they own to the bank, and they sell the house, and the money is gonna be split in two. That's it. That's how it works.
Yep. I got another question for you. When dealing with a abused spouse, how does your work as a private investigator empower victims?
Abuse spouse. Okay, so, I mean, it is not really, it's more like a matter of police to do this kind of work, okay? Our job is to investigate cases. Now, when there is domestic violence, there's not much to investigate because obviously all the evidence are right there. I mean, if the person has been molested or beat up, I mean, there is evidence. I mean, they call the police come, domestic violence, they arrest one of the two person, and there's going to be a restraining order and things like that. What we can do, sometimes I have clients, they're scared of their husband because he's very violent. So they retain us to do executive protection, to do bodyguard work, to make sure that nothing happened to them, okay? It's very rare. It's not very often. I mean, obviously, we don't do that very often, but it happens.
Great. If somebody is listening, suspect their child is in danger, what's the first thing they should do before calling a lawyer?
To call a private investigator. Then we can get the evidence before the lawyer. Because, first we need to build the case. We need to follow the subject when he's in the custody of the child and monitor his whereabouts to see, for example, if he's driving fast, if he's drinking, using drugs, leaving the child without supervision in the car, taking the child in the park and do not, watch him, and sometimes child get hurt. So there's a lot of stuff that we looked around. So we do also complete background on the subject to see his criminal past. So sometimes we had subject, they have like a sex offender, they have a child predator. I mean, it's bad. I mean, things happen, you never know.
Nobody tells the truth.
Then there's, so there is things like that. Also, we find out that the guy is part of a gang, very violent gang. So all those things will definitely make a difference on the choice custody of the parent.
Got it. So those are kind of like the methods of a private investigator helping the community.
Sometimes, I had client calling me because he's getting divorced, okay? And they have a child. And the wife, I'm going to take the ex-wife, I'm going to take example of a case that happened. She got a boyfriend. And I had my client saying, listen, I'm concerned because my daughter, she's 5 years old, and she's been telling me that she's sleeping in the bed with her mom and the boyfriend. I'm very concerned because this is not something you should do, okay? And that's a red flag already. So a lot of clients call me because they want to check the boyfriend. and see who this guy is. If he's not a sex predator, if he's not, he's not a bad person. And because you don't want your kids around someone who's gonna be a sex predator, and who knows what, you know what's going on. It's everywhere. You have so many child, they've been abused sexually by many people. It could be the boyfriend. Most of the time it's that. I mean, the boyfriend or the girlfriend, it depends on the case. But so you want to know, so they're very concerned. So they're hiring us to do an investigation, to watch everything, to see what's going on,
I think this is pretty beneficial, especially for the people who have been reaching out. And you've been complaining about having suspicion of the person who is sharing the custody with you, leaving your child in other people's house while they are in the custody of your child without you knowing. I think, listen to this, it's very important because you have the opportunity to hire a private investigator. And remember, everything that a private investigator does, it is admissible in court, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
I mean, it depends on the discovery, of course, but like I say, we have license, so all investigations are done legally, okay, on behalf of the court, and they can be admissible in court, absolutely. Now, we find so many cases like that. Like, for example, I got this guy coming to my office one day, and he said, my wife said that she doesn't work, and I have to pay a lot of money on the child custody and alimony. And I know she's working, but she's working in a strip club. She's an exotic dancer. So I know by source that she's been working there. But I need to prove that she's been working because she's being saying to the court she's not working. So we do an investigation. We go to the club undercover. And we have special equipment because over there they're looking around. They don't want you to take photos and videos, They don't like that. So we have glasses with camera and watches with camera and all other gadgets that we can use to monitor her working there. So we do that not only one time, we go a few times, okay, to show a pattern. At the end, we monitor this lady working few nights, and we find out that she was making over $2,000 a night, if it's even more, and it's all cash. There is no check, no paycheck, no nothing. It's cash. So that's something that she's gonna have to explain to the court, and apparently she doesn't even pay tax on that. So it also can be bad for her. Okay, it depends on the judge, but I saw cases like that. So when they realized that person was making so much cash, they check with the IRS, and the IRS say, we have no clue of that. It backfired, and she got an audit, and it's bad. I mean, so we find out that she was making an average of $2,000-3,000 a night.
So that's very important too. You can get help by essentially making sure that the other party, when you are in a custody situation, the other party presents the right facts. You are not alone. And that's a private
Of course. So we have to, there is many cases that you can use private investigator for your family affair, like, domestic divorce, marriage. We also do asset. We are locating assets, hiding assets. Some people hiding assets. They are preparing their divorce months in advance, years in advance. So they're transferring asset, opening shell company, getting estate, all those things that it's difficult to find and touch. And so we do also asset research. Okay.
That's fantastic. So
we're locating Bitcoin wallets, because now we have those cryptocurrency money that a lot of people are trying to hide the money through this. Find this. We find offshore account. We find bank account. We find real estate asset, corporate company. We do a complete audits and analytic on the subject asset, boat, airplane, all those things that we can use during a divorce. Then obviously everything can be split normally and equally.
Fantastic. I got a question, an interesting question here. I doubt that the reasons that my husband, wife, my current husband, my ex-husband, wife, I'm sorry, is trying to do with my child. Can I run a background check on her?
Absolutely. And I recommend to do that, to run a background check on any boyfriend, girlfriend of your ex or new wife. I recommend to run a background check on any nanny that you're hiring to supervise your child, or anything that touch your children or anybody around your children should be screened. Okay? You better be safe than sorry, especially with the kids. Today, there is so many predators. I don't know if you heard about what's going on with the immigration. There is, I don't know how many children, they don't know where they are. 30,000, something like that. I mean, it's a huge amount of children coming from other countries all over the world. During the last administration, which is about 4 years, more than 30 or 40,000 children disappeared. They don't know where they are. I mean, it's not coming from a private investigator. It's coming from the reality. I mean, that the Homeland Security has, and actually, I think now with the new administration, they are looking for those kids. That was one of the priority, because it's insane.
It's insane.
It's insane. How many kids disappear? I mean, and it's every day. Every day you have children, especially a young adolescent, female and male, they disappear. They never find them, ever. So there is human trafficking. It's everywhere. So it's, you can be a target. If you are like an easy target, they're going to go after you. If you're starting to screen everybody around you, they're going to avoid you. Okay? So, like I say, you better be safe than sorry.
Right. What is the biggest mistake people make when trying to prove abuse or neglect in court?
They let their emotion taking over. Okay? And sometimes, whatever happened between two persons, okay? Married, divorced, they can be upset at each other for many reasons. And it's fine. That's not the problem. But sometimes they want to get revenge. You understand? And the revenge is not always the best things to do when there is a divorce or a child custody involved. Okay? Because you don't think for your kids, you think based on your emotion. And that's when things goes wrong. Okay? Sometimes you so emotionally hurt that you are creating story in your head and you believe those stories. And we had the cases, like I said, the client can say, oh, my husband is a drug addict, my husband is a drug dealer, my husband is this, is that, and you need to follow him, he's an alcoholic, he drink, and we do follow the person. Some people, they have resources, they have money to spend on investigation. Sometimes we spend 100 hours, 80 hours of investigation and find anything. The guy doesn't drink. The guy doesn't smoke marijuana. The guy doesn't use cocaine. I mean, when people have an addiction, they have a disturbed life a little bit. Okay, so a guy who get up every day, work every day, go to work, come home, going to the gym, working out, taking care of himself, going to eat good stuff, like healthy. And then I have the spouse telling me that he's a drug addict, he's going party every night, and he's an alcoholic, and that doesn't match with the reality. So we find that very often because someone wants so much to find leverage on someone for their own satisfaction, and they start to believe it. And that's where sometimes I stop the case and tell my client, I'm sorry, I think we need to stop. That doesn't help. That doesn't make any sense. And they say, I don't care, I pay you. I don't care about the money. It's not about the money. It's about are we doing the right thing or not? You understand? And to me, when I see this kind of things, this is harassment. This is nothing else than harassment. we have clients like that because they want to control. They really want to win that case, and they believe something is going on, but nothing is going on.
Can you as a private investigator be hired to do a well check on a house?
Yes, I can go and knock at the door. Everybody can do a well check. You can go but usually it's the police department because, you knocked at someone's doors, so, it's better. It's better than the police do that. But we can do it, yes. Yes, we do. Sometimes we look for people and we find them and we
The reason
talk to them.
The reason I ask you this is because there have been complaints about people trying to reach out the cops to do a well check on their child, and they don't get anywhere.
Again, if you call the police 10 times a day to do a well check, they're going to get aggravated. Okay? They're not going to go at one point, or they're going to say, oh, stop. I had people like that. I had a client, she was calling the police 4 or 5 times a day to do a well check. The cops, they say, oh, come on, we have other things to do. We have an emergency. We have, domestic violence. We have crimes to go after. Not because you are emotional and you're scared. And there's no reason for that. Okay.
Can you help a client with an abuse ex trying to do constant well check on them to make their life miserable?
No. We don't take those cases. I mean, that's one of the priority. After that, I had other case with the wife was going at night and slashing all the tires of his car every week, or scratching the car. It's like, vandalism. So yes, we caught her. We got her on videos. We had surveillance next to the car, and we spent maybe 20 or 30 hours waiting for her to come. And she came at one point, and we got everything on video. So, and that's it. Then the guy pressed charge, and she got arrested, and she had to pay, I don't know how many set of tires. Okay.
Okay, so we are at the top of the hour, and this is time to dig even more into your mind. All right. I know that I'm bombarding you with questions.
Okay.
But this is, we're going to get into numbers. Now, a custody child case with an attorney is advertised to be between, $6,000 and $10,000, depending on the case, but it could go way above that. So my question is, why should people hire you or hire a private investigator before stepping into a core battle that is going to cause so much money and so much emotional devastation?
So, first of all, when you have a good reason to do a child custody investigation, you gotta be aware that it's gonna cost you money as well, okay? And if you cannot afford it, don't even start it, because you're gonna lose whatever money that you're gonna put to start the case. And I always tell my client, child custody investigation is between 20 and 60 hours of investigation. For child custody investigation, we charge $150 an hour. And if you don't have the resources, because that doesn't mean we're going to be done in 20 hours or 30 hours. We don't know that, okay? But we ask a retainer. The retainer, it's 20 hours because we need a minimum of 20 hours to be admissible in court. Because you cannot go in court with a short investigation that they're not going to take it in consideration because you don't have enough evidence. We require that. We believe that about 20 hours is really the minimum that we need to do an investigation, okay? But most of the time it's over 20 hours. It's, like I say, between 20 and 60 hours. If you don't have the money, the budget, or the resources to do this kind of investigation, don't even start, because you're going to have to start in the middle of the investigation, and the money that you're going to put on the table, it's going to go nowhere. So I know it's not everybody who can do that because it's a lot of money, and I understand. And then we charge only $150 an hour, okay? But tomorrow you're going to get lawyers. He's going to charge you minimum. I think minimum you can get it's $450 an hour. Okay. And up. Okay. And lawyers will charge you even when they send you an email or they call you on the phone. Okay. We don't do that because we don't have time for that. That's not what we do. But again, hiring a private investigator before the lawyer to prepare your case will make, if we have a solid case, that will make your case so easy and it will save you a bunch of money on lawyers' fees. I know the lawyers are not going to be happy having me saying that, but this is the truth, okay? I had a lawyer hiring me to do investigation and they charge their client $600 an hour for what I do, okay? It's true.
It's a fact.
And it's fine. It's business. And they do whatever they have to do. It's fine. I'm not saying anything like that, but as a parent with the attention to do a child custody investigation, you have to, if you do an investigation, it's not because you're going to do an investigation and that's it. No, it's because you're going to go to court. So automatically it's a private investigator, lawyers. Okay. That's going to be a lot of money here. Not everybody can afford it. And unfortunately, okay.
Correct. And you are not even mentioning mediation because it's part of the process and it's very costly.
Mediation, divorce. Look, a divorce had cases. It took people 2, 3 years, 4 years to divorce, and 2, 3, 4, 5, $600,000, $1 million on lawyers' fees. Okay, it depends. If people have money, they can. That's all about resources.
This is the reason why I am tapping into the top investigator Victor Elbeze mind to get trained to understanding to help you to get the answers and uncover the truth. This is a podcast that we keep it real for you. You can reach us out in our email and now subscribe, like us, follow us.
Yes, please.
And we are now in Spotify. We are in Podbean. We are in YouTube podcast, and we are making this for you so that you can reach out via email, via our Telegram, everything is on the description. And so, Victor, one more time, I appreciate your time and
Thank you.
let me tap
absolutely.
into your mind.
No. But like I say, we do this podcast because we want to help people and we want to let people, know it's available for them. Okay. And we're going to talk about the next podcast, the next episode. We're going to talk. There is so many subjects that we can talk.
So now that you're saying that, what are you going to give us next?
Well, we're going to stay in the, I want to talk about the corporate investigation.
Fantastic.
Corporate investigation, it's like breach of contract, executive screening. There is a lot of things that we can do for corporate. Actually, it's huge. We can help a small and medium company to avoid a problem. And corporate can be anything. We have so many different cases.
And we're staying on course with the subjects of our episodes, but I want to ask you, did you by chance, what are your thoughts about the North Korea lady in Arizona who was actually pretending to be a temp hiring agent to hire talent to work for American companies, and she ended up to be a spy.
Yeah, she was hired as an high executive for a very sensitive and big American company, and she was a North Korean spy actually. And this is very. It happens a lot. We're talking about spy from other country, but you can have spy from other companies. Okay, this is industrial espionage. Okay, corporate espionage. So it's everywhere, every day, and at every level. Small, medium, and large companies, you can be confronted to this kind of espionage, and you can lose a client, you can lose your company, you can lose a lot, your employees. And
how could you, as a private investigator, help these corporations avoid this kind of?
We can help them, and that's what we're going to talk about on the next time.
You left it. Okay.
Because if we go...
I try, guys. I try.
If we keep talking about it, we're going to have another hours, maybe 2.
I know, I try, but you know.
But I prefer to explain and go over all the detail step by step for corporate company. There is so many things that we can do, so many configuration, and I will let you enjoy that on the next episode.
All right, guys, you hear, I try my best, but he's not giving me any more this time. It's a pleasure to have you with us. Again, like us, subscribe us, follow us.
Thank you.
We are appreciating and we're here for you to uncover the truth with Victor Elbeze.
Thank you, guys. See you next week.
Take care.